Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pro Football Historian Channel. I'm your host, Frank Given. Today, we'll be previewing Week 4 of the NFL season. And we'll start off with the London game against the Vikings and the Saints. Um, from this standpoint, these are pretty even teams. Maybe going in the year, maybe thought the Saints were a little bit better. Again, Andy Dalton starting this week. I don't have a great feeling either way. I think if the Saints stop the run, it's really going to help them slow down the entire offense of the Vikings. And that's why I'm pretty much picking them. I think because they usually struggle with the mobile quarterbacks and stuff. And even last year, the Saints even didn't really struggle. They gave up a big play, obviously, but overall they played pretty well. Um, it hasn't been as good as previous years, but they still can. They should be able to slow down the Vikings. And I don't know if Dalvin Cook is going to be healthy this week. Either way, Tony Madison's a pretty good back, and from the other standpoint, Andy Dalton with the Saints receivers are pretty good. The offensive line hasn't played amazing or anything, but I could see him taking care of the ball, and it should be a close game either way. This game again, can the Vikings win this? The Saints can win this, but I'm just going to take the Saints to win this game. And then moving on with the Browns and Falcons. I'm just going to go with the Browns here. I think the more talented team. I know it's in Atlanta, but I mean, even the Falcons are a better coach team. This should be a relatively close game, but they're missing some guys. And I think Brown's relatively healthy. They should, with the extra time, should help them win. Help them win this game. Not a lot much Atlanta I can really say positive about. Besides that, they're a good team, a good coach team. I just think the talent is such a big gap between these teams, and with extra rest time and all that, I think the Browns are going to win this. Bills Ravens, really good teams, some of the best in the league. But I lean towards Buffalo in this one, even with the injuries. I think they're lost more of them beating themselves, and you could say the Ravens, same thing, both against the Dolphins. Um, Ravens are getting healthier, and the Bills, you could say, kind of aren't. And, the injuries they had last week going into that game didn't help. But I think the Bills just overall, I think they shouldn't have issues with the run game of the Ravens. Obviously they're going to stop Lamar. I'm talking about not quarterback runs, but the actual running backs and stuff like that. And then they're a really good coach team. I expect this to be a relatively high scoring game, even with these pretty good defenses. Well, Ravens haven't played well, and that's the other thing. The Ravens haven't played well. And the Bills' offense is pretty healthy for the most part, and that's my reasoning behind I would pick the Bills in this game. Now here, you got a desperate Washington team against a Dallas team with Cooper Rush. I think this is going to be a pretty close game, but I thought some of the games last year were going to be close, and they, for the most part, weren't. I'll lean toward Dallas. I think a better team. I know Washington's really desperate, and I could see them winning because of that. But I think they're going to go to 1-3. Haven't looked good. I don't think the pass protection is going to be resolved in going in this week or anytime soon. Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence, and they even have Dante Fowler and you could say Anthony Barr a little bit. They got plenty of guys who can rush the passer. And, from the other standpoint, they got some guys that might be able to, I don't know if you want to say cover, but their defense is good enough. They should be able to handle this Washington offense. And that's why I'm going with them, even though, and they're going to stick with the running game and kind of not hide Cooper Rush, but protect him and make it easier on him. And Washington defense isn't very good. So that's my reasoning behind that. Picking Dallas in that game. Now, Detroit, Seattle. I'm going Detroit here. I think they're a little bit better team. I also think they're home. The Dolphins played really well this year. And then Seattle, it's due scheme, but they aren't great on that side of the ball. And then defensively, Seattle really hasn't done much since the first half against the Broncos. And that might help the Detroit defense because they haven't played great either. But there's, even Seattle probably picked Detroit. Detroit should win this game. They're home. They're the better football team. Houston, in the Chargers. Houston won this game last year. I think this is going to be a close game. The Chargers are banged up. But I'm going to lean the Chargers, but I don't have a lot of confidence. I think they're definitely the better team, even with the injuries. And I think they have enough help compared to last year to slow down Rex Burkhead and Damian Pierce enough where that doesn't make it easier on Davis Mills to pick them apart. And maybe they'll get some guys back, the Chargers, which could help them. So I lean Chargers, but not by a whole lot. And then Tennessee, Indianapolis. This is tough for me. I think I would go Tennessee. Again, I could see the teams winning this. Titans defense hasn't played well, but Colts offense really hasn't done much overall over the season. And I think their offense, I think both offenses are going to struggle, but I think maybe there's a possibility the Titans could, run the ball and, be efficient at that part. Again, I think a close game, but I'm going to pick Tennessee on the road. But again, I could see their team winning that. And kind of the same year. Now, Chicago really destroyed the Giants last year. Obviously, they had Jake Fromm, I believe, at quarterback. Might have had Mike Lennon also in that game. I can't really remember. But, so, I mean, a lot of, that wasn't close at all. And I know Daniel Jones is way better than those other guys I just named. And I just don't think they're much better than last year. And I know Chicago has their issues, but I'll lean slight to Chicago. And it's a slight upset, but I'll pick Chicago. I think they're a good coach team. I think the Giants are kind of good. They're coached pretty well as well. But I just think the quarterback plays about the same. Maybe on the year you see Daniel Jones is a little bit. It's more than just a slight improvement over Justin Fields, but I think they're about the same quarterback-wise. Daniel Jones slightly edging him out. And then the rest of the team, besides maybe the running backs, maybe the offensive line's close. They're both not very good. Bears defense is just the difference for me in this game. Moving on, one of the better 1 o'clock games in Jacksonville and Philadelphia. I think this is going to be a close game. I would go Philadelphia. But I think this is the first team that could give the Eagles offense some issues, or at least find ways to stop them. And then the offense, the Jacksonville, I don't know if they're going to do great against the Eagles defense, but that would be the way the Eagles win, is probably because their defense, doesn't allow the Jags to score 38 like the Chargers defense did last week. And I think they scored on, 7 consecutive drives, the Jags. I don't really see that happening against Philadelphia. As long as the Jags offense doesn't do really, really good, I think the Eagles are going to win this. Should be a close game. Moving on, Jets, Steelers. This one's tough for me because Zach Wilson is returning. I think that gives them an edge in the quarterback battle over Mitchell Trubisky, not by a lot. But I like Zach Wilson. I like this Jets team overall. They do have some tackle issues. I think Max Mitchell, their 4th-round pick, is starting this week. I think just talent-wise, it's not – I don't know. With the TJ Watt injury, it just makes it this very close game. I'll take the Jets in an upset, but again, I could – before the year, I would pick Pittsburgh. think, again, it's such a hard game to pick. Should be close. It's in Pittsburgh, which is, making me think otherwise, but I'm going to go the Jets. Again, could be easily wrong on that one. This one's another one. I'm going with the upset, if you want to call it that. I don't know if it even is an upset. I don't know the spread on this. And don't really care too much about it, to be honest. I think the Panthers are going to win this. There were so many issues they gave the Cardinals last year. That was with Colt McCoy. But, Colt McCoy, with the Cardinals, they beat the 49ers. So Colt McCoy is not a bad quarterback. I think the Panthers are slightly better quarterback play. The offensive coordinator is not really much different in terms of how good, compare Ben McAdoo to Joe Brady. Very close. I don't know how people feel either way. But I just think that they match up well against Arizona. And Arizona really didn't show me they are going to stick with the consistent spread type offense they like to do. Because I think they need to run it more because they don't do anything else well. That's why I'm picking Panthers. But again, Kyle Murray is a pretty good quarterback. Hasn't had a great year so far, but so they can win this. But in Carolina, I just think the Carolina might be able to pull this off. And then Green Bay versus New England. Now Brian Hoyer starting. I don't really see the Patriots winning this. I don't know if I see it really that close. Now, the defense for New England is above average, and that could give maybe problems to the Packers. But I just don't know that the personnel to do it. Lawrence Guy is also hurt this week, I believe. So they're going to have a hard time stopping the run. I think they're going to try to stop the run. And then if they can even do that, which I don't see that happening, another game you can remember against New England when they didn't have the bodies, it was against 49ers a few years ago. They just ran all over the Patriots. I don't know if the Packers will do that, but they have ways they can do a similar thing to New England. And then, Rodgers, the RPO. I don't know if Christian Watson will be back, but that would obviously help them. I don't see New England scoring enough to make this that competitive. Maybe early on it will be, but I'll pick Green Bay. And this one, I'm going with the Raiders. I think they'll split the series. Denver really hasn't shown a lot offensively so far. I do think it's tough. I think their defense is probably worse than they've been playing, and their offense is probably better than what they've shown. But, the Raiders 0-3. I think they finally get the first one, but they go 0-4. A lot of people are not going to be they're already on Josh McDaniels, and it's going to be worse. And we got Tampa Bay and Kansas City. Pretty good game. This is going to be played in Tampa Bay even after the hurricane. And I'll take Kansas City. I think they're just the better team. But again, Tampa Bay is going to give them issues defensively. Well, their defense is going to give the Chiefs offense some problems. But again, there's so much talent on the Chiefs team. And, it's hard to see either of these teams losing twice in a row. But I think Tampa Bay might go 0-2 at home. I think their offense is better than the Packers currently. And their defense might not be at Green Bay's level, but it's still a solid, pretty good group. And Tampa Bay's offense hasn't played much, hasn't played really well. I think they're going to have a hard time running the ball for the most part. And it puts a lot on Brady, and at least they get Mike Evans back. We'll see if they get anyone else back. Again, I still think this is a compelling game, a close game, but I want to take Kansas City. This is another tough game. I'm going to actually take the 49ers. I was thinking about Rams, but I think the 49ers. I think they just do a lot of similar things, and the talent level is pretty close. I think I'll take the 49ers slightly on the talent level. But also, I think they're just more physical and bigger. And because of that, it's going to allow them to run the ball and also pressure, stop the run and put a lot of pressure on Matthew Stafford. And Cooper Kupp's really the only threat they've shown to have. Now, Robinson hasn't done much. Used Skoranek a little bit all over the place. But think the 49ers is a very good coach team. I think Garoppolo won't play as bad as he did. And I don't think they're going to need him to do a lot anyway. They usually don't ask a ton for him to do. They try to give him some easy throws, and sometimes he doesn't make those. But anyway, I'll take the 49ers. They're not desperate, but they're on the fringe of being there. If they go to 1-3, it's not going to be good. And I know they had a slow start last year, so it's not surprising. But this is their chance. Rams haven't played that well, to be honest. And I guess we'll review this game at the end of the video. Obviously, Tua got hurt. We don't need to discuss everything involved in that. Bridgewater came in. He played okay, and but ultimately the Bengals offense made a few explosive plays, which was the main reason they won the game. It was closer maybe the score indicated, and there was a lot of times even the fans of Cincinnati were booing the Bengals because they couldn't do much. But it was just not enough offense for the Dolphins, and really no explosive plays besides the Tyreek Hill bomb pretty much. And then they had an interception late, which I don't know whose fault, to be honest. If it was Bridgewater or Gesicki. I think the guy was the receiver being targeted there. Bengals could not run the ball. They haven't been able to run the ball. I thought Burrow played all right, and T. Higgins had a pretty big game. And I know Xavier Howard came out. He's dealing with a groin injury, I believe. And Dolphins tried to take away Jamar Chase, and for the most part they did. Eventually got chased the ball a little bit at the end of the game. But again, picked Cincinnati, thought they would win this. Obviously, Tua getting hurt doesn't help. And that's what happened in that game. Obviously, we'll see him in week 5. But again, thanks for watching the video. Hopefully you subscribe if you like the content I'm bringing here. I'll try to be more consistent on when I release these videos or when I make them. But again, enjoy tomorrow's games. You got a long day. If you're Eastern time, 9:30, all the way 6:30 on the West Coast, all the way to midnight, if not even close to midnight. Again, see you guys later.